What is up, guys? It's Dan the Man, and today I'm back with the last round of the Chess Zone December action, and I'm currently having a phenomenal tournament with 3 out of 3, and going into the last round, I'm paired against a teenager named David Katz, rated 1931, and we both had a perfect score going into the last game, so it was the fight for first place, if you will, and we were also on board one, but the broadcasting connection wasn't working, so unfortunately I can't have timestamps in this video, so we're going to have to go about without them. In round 4, some people got buys for the games, probably either because they weren't doing too well or they were exhausted from playing chess the first 3 games and just wanted to go home early because they didn't think they'd be winning anything. But still, there were plenty of people that stuck around for the end. And let me just go ahead and say that I did not deserve to win this game at all. I don't honestly know how I won this game. It's probably one of the most fortunate endings I've ever seen happen to me. So you'll see why. Like, it's inexplicable how I did not lose. And so yeah, let's go ahead and jump in here. So I begin the game with e4, and David goes into the Scandinavian with d5. I take. He takes with the queen, going into the traditional line. Sometimes black goes knight f6 to win the pawn back that way, so as to avoid bringing the queen out early. But this is also very common. Knight c3, and he's playing this very quickly. Queen a5, d4, we're both blitzing this out. c6 to create a window for the queen to escape in case the bishop lines up on d2. Knight f3, knight f6. Now I go bishop d2, threatening to look at the queen, and that's why c6 is played, to create a getaway path for the queen. The queen went to c7, and normally in Scandinavian positions, white already ends up with a slightly better position out of the opening, so it's not nearly as common to be played at the expert and master level. But in practice, it's totally fine. Like, 0.95 is pretty minuscule for for a human evaluation, and it's only for like super precise computers to take advantage of. And anyway, I just continue with my development with bishop d3. He plays bishop g4, h3, bishop h5. I don't know, we were both playing this like it's a bullet game. I don't know if it was because we both didn't want to play this game, or we were both tired and wanted the game to end faster. I was even thinking about, as a joke, offering him a draw before the game started so as to split first place. But I'm like, you know what, let's go in and win it for ourselves, you know? We shouldn't be cowardly. We should, fight for the game. So I go queen e2, preparing. This is a pretty flexible move. I'm not really sure where to castle, so I can either castle kingside or queenside. I'm sort of waiting for what he was going to do. He plays knight on b to d7, which indicates that he is planning to castle queenside since all the pieces are out of the way. If he wanted to castle kingside, he would have played a move like g6 and bishop g7. So now that I know that he's wanting to castle queenside, I go ahead and castle the same direction, just to make the game less chaotic. He goes with e6, g4, bishop g6, just gaining some space. Here I take, and he has to take with the h-pawn because if f takes, the e6 pawn hangs. Let me just show that. Yeah, I'm just totally winning if that happens. So yeah, h takes, g6 is forced. I go with knight g5. I played the taking and then knight g5 because the knight on g5 is an outpost. Black is not playing f6 anytime soon. And I might even have some knight e6 ideas, depending on if black's king stays in the center. I'm also maybe wanting to reroute to e4 at some point. David plays the move knight b6. Maybe wanting to reroute to d5. Still not castling right away. I play f4, just gaining some more space on the king side. He plays queenside castle, only now. And here I play bishop e3, which wasn't the best move to defend. Notice by castling, he aims at this d4 pawn, so I have to defend it in some way. But by playing bishop e3, I let my bishop become vulnerable to one of the knights that can hop into d5. But instead of that, he plays the move bishop to d6, which I thought was also a sensible move, just attacking the pawn in f4 twice. And I defend with queen f3, and only now he plays knight c4 actually, which I thought was a pretty annoying move. The threat here is to take the bishop, and after I take back, he would pin my queen on e3 with bishop takes f4. So he's actually just threatening to win a bunch of material on the house. So here I have to defend my f-pawn in some way. And I decide to do that. Actually, what I do instead is I attack the bishop with knight g to e4. Apparently I should have moved the other knight for some reason. I wonder what the difference is. Let's see. If I play knight c to e4, let's see. The engine recommends this line, where we just exchange stuff. But if knight g to e4, which is what I played, apparently black has queen a5, and the difference here is that if after, let's say, knight takes, rook takes, difference here versus the other line, knight c to e4, of queen a5 here, I think it's something to do with the knight not being on c3 and not being vulnerable to some sort of knight takes b2 tactics. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Let me show the point here. So if knight g to e4, queen a5, let's just say I play knight takes, rook takes. Let's just say I play a random move like g5 to kick the knight. Black has knight takes b2 in some lines, and then queen b4 check. So although it's not good here, I think the point of playing knight c to e4 was to not let some sort of knight takes b2 stuff work. So that's why I believe knight g to e4 is a mistake. Pretty hard to see why that's a difference. Even I don't fully understand it, but I think that's why. So he played knight d5. He didn't play the best move. I just go ahead and trade a bunch of pieces off. So I take the bishop. He takes back. I play knight takes d5. He takes back. And he does have a bit of pressure on my king with the queen lined up here, the knight on a very nice outpost, and the rook maybe potentially to go over here to rook lift. So I am in a bit of a kind of an unpleasant position, but still relatively equal according to the computer. So I play rook d3 here. He plays queen a5 now, a bit too late. I have to deal with my a-pawn, so I go with king b1. And here he goes, rook a6. The only move is a3 to save the checkmate. He plays king d7, which I was totally not expecting. It caught me off guard. I was expecting maybe the other rook to come into the game, like with rook d8 or something, maybe trying to swing this rook over. I was kind of expecting him to continue the attack in some way. But yeah, king d7 I did not understand because he's bringing his king closer to the center where it can be vulnerable. So I take advantage of that with f5, trying to open some lines to attack his king. Like if he takes, and like this, then I'm just dead on winning. After queen takes f5, his king's exposed, and I'd be totally winning, which is what I thought he'd happen after he took on after I took an f5. I was expecting the recapture, but he surprised me with this great move, rook f6. And he's going to gain the pawn back in a healthier way. He's going to take with the rook and close down any sort of attack, and now he's just going to be up a pawn because I'm pinned. So here I play queen g4, and the point is that if pawn takes, I fork the rooks, and I'm winning. So he's forced to play rook takes f5, and I realize I'm down a pawn, but the king is, again, a bit exposed in the center. So I play the move rook f1 pretty quickly. I played it in under a minute or something like that. So I'm adding pressure to the rook on b5. And I was expecting maybe... I was expecting the rook to be defended with a move like, let's say, knight d6 or something. Because you want to react to the threat made by me. But instead, David goes on the offensive and plays the move queen b5, which is a phenomenal move. He's threatening checkmate on b2, And also looking at the rook on f1, although it might not look apparent how that matters, you're going to see in the next move. And after queen b5, he got it from the board, got it, and sort of started to silently brag because, you know, he found a great move and was, like, admiring his position, which is a little bit annoying, but, like, as soon as I saw that he was, you know, bragging a little bit, I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, he's right. He found a great move. And, yeah, he sort of let me know, like, okay, dude, you let me know that you found a great move, and you're, okay. How do we get out of this situation? So, he's threatening mate on b2, and he's also threatening knight takes a3, and that pawn's pinned, and if the rook takes, you can see the point here, queen takes f1, will be collecting the rook. So I have to deal with the mate in some way, and then I can't stop the tactic he has with knight takes a3, rook takes, and queen takes f1. So that's why the rook on f1 was bad, because it fell victim to this trap. So queen takes f1, David is up 4 points of material, and my bishop's pinned, he has an extra exchange in 2 pawns. I can pretty much resign in the next few moves. But I persist and keep playing. I might as well grab a pawn close to his king with rook takes a7. His king is still a bit exposed. It's not too late to blunder. But he plays rook takes h3. Great move. My queen actually is trapped in a way. It doesn't have anywhere safe to move to. The next move, black's going to play rook h1 and build a serious attack on my king. So I have to think of something fast. So I put king a2 just to get out of the pin. Obviously, if queen takes bishop, I would take the rook on h3. So he played queen c4 check. I go back to b1. And I'm like, look, man, if you're going to go back to f1, I'll go back to a2, and we'll be in this position twice. So you got to think of something else to do. So he played the move rook h2, threatening the pawn on c2. And here I play rook takes b7 check. Again, I'm totally losing here, but I'm trying my best to make, because it's still complicated in a way. The king is a bit exposed on d7, and he can blunder maybe some sort of attack. He played king c8, though. There's no more good checks to be made. So I played the move rook b3, which I'm trying to go like rook c3 to pin. I'm trying to every move to threaten something new in black's position, even though it is pretty much hopeless. And so he plays queen takes c2 check, king a2, and what I realize here is that my idea doesn't even work, which is so sad, is that he can still take this bishop, and I can't play rook c3 like I originally wanted to, because the pawn on b2 would be pinned thanks to the rook on h2. So I'm like, well, that idea is out of the trash can. I'm now down 7 points of material. He's up a whole rook and 2 pawns. And while his king is exposed, as in no pawns being around it, there's no way for me to mate it in any feasible way. Black's going to get to me before I have any sort of chance to harass black's position. So this position's pretty hopeless for me, and I'm like, damn, I'm going to be probably splitting second with a few people, because he caught me with this queen b5 tactic. But I don't go down without a fight, and I play the move queen g3, which threatens the rook, and also some sort of queen b8 infiltration. So let's see, if like black plays, I don't know, something dumb like queen h1, yeah, then I just mate with queen b8, and then there's a mate with queen a7, and then you play rook b6 or rook b8. So yeah, I am threatening to checkmate him on the back rank. So he has to find an accurate defensive move, and he does with queen f4, offering to trade. Here I play queen d3, looking to go to a6 to continue the attack that way. Yeah, and it's not totally easy for black. Like, black has to be careful about my attack, even though they're up a rook. So after queen d3, David finds the best move with queen f1, defending the square like this and offering yet another trade of queens. Here I play queen c3 check. The queen has to block for my pieces not to get in, which he does. And here I play queen a5. Every move I'm trying to sneak into the black position a little bit more. And now the engine evaluates this as mate in 18, saying that black has a forced checkmate in 18 moves. And in other words, black is completely winning and I have no chance of survival. And I even saw this like immediately after. Like after queen a5, it's totally over. He can put the nail in the coffin. He can cut off my oxygen supply by playing a rook f3 or even rook h3. Just simplify the material. Just trade off my last attacking piece by pinning it. I have nothing, and I can pretty much resign. Like, I was just waiting for him to suffocate me, metaphorically, of course. And I was just waiting on my deathbed for him to pull the plug, basically. So, I was just patiently waiting for him to, end the game. But he didn't play it. He played rook on f to f2, which makes sense, too. He's, since the rook is pinned, he's actually threatening to just take this. But that gives me a free move. So I might as well throw in a check, right? I go queen a8 check. He goes king d7, queen b7 check, trying to stall the inevitable. He plays king to e6. And I would love to go rook here, but again, I'm pinned. Same with rook here, but I'm pinned. So here I just unpin with king a3. And here something shocking happens. David is spoiled for choice on how he can win. He's up a rook. So he can play anything as long as he just doesn't blunder something. Like, he can probably even play queen takes pawn. And even though he allows some counterplay, he's getting away with king e5. Like, he can play a plethora of moves and still be completely winning. But the move he plays, although logical at first, just completely throws the game away to a draw with rook takes b2. And I bet his idea was that after I take back, he has queen c3 check, forking the king and the rook. And if I go to a2, he just takes and then promotes his pawns. And if I were to block like this, then he has a mate on a5. So I'm sure that was his thought process. He was probably trying to simplify in a very fancy way. But what you'll notice here is that I want you to picture something. If my queen and rook were gone, it would be stalemate. Because my king he put me in a stalemate position. My pawn is blockaded and my king is not in check but can't move. So if I were to magically get rid of my queen and rook, it would be stalemate and I would save the game and get the half point. So that was my mission. I realized that. I realized that he had blundered the game into a draw. So I need to check him in a way to give away my queen and rook so as to force a draw by stalemate. So I start with rook e3 check. And what's funny here is that black only has one move to not be losing. Anywhere else he goes, I'm mating him before he mates me. In other words, the hunter is going to get hunted. So the only way here for him to not be losing, which is funny, it's like mutually assured destruction, is king d6, and then queen e7 check. He runs away. And then, again, to force the stalemate, I have to give away both of my pieces, like this, rook e6 check, and then some sort of stalemate like this. And after he takes the queen or runs away, I would just keep offering my queen on pre multiple times until he takes it to force the stalemate. So, in other words, he just had to run to d6 to get away from my pieces. But again, he throws the game away with like 30 minutes on the clock. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He plays king f5. And now from being totally losing to drawn, he now hands me the win on a silver platter with king to f5. And now I have a forced checkmate in 9 moves. So this is probably the biggest swing I've seen in a long, long time. From mate for him to mate for me. So after king f5, I'm like, wow, he went there, and I'm trying to figure out how. I'm still not realizing that it's mate. I'm still trying to figure out how to give away my pieces. And I'm like, what checks best? Rook f3, rook e5, queen takes f7, queen d7. Turns out queen to f7 is the best move, which I play. And here he plays king g5, ending the game faster. And here I realized that I have a mate, and I couldn't believe my eyes. So I end the game with rook g3 check, the only move to be winning. He plays king to h4, and here he realizes that he had massively thrown the game. Massively thrown the game. With king h4, queen f4 check, the king is forced to h5, and me being on the brink of checkmate, one move away, mate David with queen to g5 mate. Wow, if I've ever seen a turnaround game, it has to be this one. This has got to be one of the luckiest games I've ever played in my life. And wow, I can't believe we managed to escape that game. So we end the tournament with a perfect score, something I haven't accomplished in a long, long time, with 4 out of 4, and I felt very proud of this game, very proud of my performance. And if we take a look at the accuracy here, yeah, you can see on the graph that I'm totally cooked. Black is dead on winning for like half the game, and then he just gifts me the win on a silver platter with blundering king f5. So I had an 83.9 accuracy, and he has 79.9. So yeah, we ended the tournament with first place, something I also don't remember doing in a while. This was probably one of the best tournaments I've played in chess, especially in a tough section like the championship where everyone's above 1800. So I'm happy to report that I accomplished something for the first time in rating. I officially became a USCF chess expert by surpassing 2,000 USCF rating, which honestly was just incredible. I first played my first chess tournament in 2020, where I went to 1,069, and over the course of 5 years or so, it's been a slow but steady journey to gain this much rating through a lot of dedication and hard work and persistence and analysis and learning from your mistakes. So I'm very proud of the progress I've made here, and I hope you guys enjoyed my rating climb from when I first started. It's pretty inspirational here. If you guys are wanting to reach 2,000, just remember that keep playing chess, keep learning from your mistakes, and we're all in this together, and just play chess for the fun of it, and you'll eventually gain rating naturally, and don't feel like it's a task, but rather something for enjoyment. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next tournament I'll play. And yeah, have a great rest of your day or night. Bye.